What's up guys, and welcome back to another Fiora guide. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Fiora's main role in team comps and how to approach team fights to maximize Fiora to her fullest potential. Now before we get into the video guys, please subscribe, as I'm sure this is probably the 4th or 5th video you've seen and you've still not subscribed yet, and it really helps out a lot. Look guys, I'm gonna keep it $1.50 with you. Times are tough. If you don't subscribe, this little guy's not gonna have any food on his plate tonight. Do you want that hanging over your head? I didn't think so. Subscribe. Alright guys, that being said, let's get into the video. Now, before we talk about how to play team fights as Fiora, it's important to understand Fiora's role in a team. Fiora is one of the strongest duelists in the game, meaning she is really good in 1v1 or 1v2 scenarios where she can use her high mobility and repost to outplay her opponents. That being said, Fiora will most likely be successful in the side lanes considering there will be fewer opponents on the edges of the map. A common misconception made by lower elo players is that they think that Fiora can only split push, thus resulting in them never joining a team fight through TPs or rotations. You all know that type of Fiora player that is constantly getting question mark pinged and tells you if you ping them one more time, they're gonna like show up at your house and shit in your gutters, you know, stuff like that, right? Yeah, I've never done that either. Although split pushing is Fiora's strength, that does not mean she is horrible in team fights. You should use your teleport and split pushing pressure to create roam timers so you can make it to these game deciding fights rather than watching from the sidelines hoping your team won't run it down. If you don't understand how to manage waves properly and or rotate to fights, I'll link my wave management video in the description, or you can click the link in the upper right hand side. When you approach a team fight, you should try to keep a timer for all abilities and summoner spells used prior to engaging into the fight. Knowing whether or not a champion has ult or flash can change the result of a team fight drastically. The next thing you should consider is your pathing. Since Fiora is a melee champ, it is important to understand your positioning to punish others while also being aware of the danger you can be in. Fiora only has one get out of jail free card, and it would suck if you had to waste it because you mental AFK'd into the enemy Malzahar. And the final step to approaching a team fight is understanding what team fight approach you are going to take. The two main concepts are either locking onto the fed squishy champions and one-shotting them, or playing front to back, using your ult to demolish enemy tanks while keeping your team alive. But hey, don't take my word for it. Here are some fellow high elo streamers that can help explain it a little better.
Thank you, Alex, for letting me be a part of this video. Fiora isn't well known for her team fighting ability. There are a lot of variables that dictate how to take part in a fight. One example is if your team has a really strong backline like a Fed AD carrier mid, then you should be playing around them. Your goal is to not really peel since you don't have CC, but to help keep them alive by targeting whoever is tunneling towards them. This allows your AD carrier mid to play more freely around the fight instead of focusing on them. Another example is when the enemy backline is a lot stronger and you're at a decent spot yourself. Target them using a flank. They have a heavy CC tank like a Cho'Gath or Scion. I would definitely save your ultimate for them because of your ability to shred them down easily, especially with the true damage from your passive. Once that wall of defense is taken down, it makes fights a lot easier for your team and a lot harder for them to play around.
Teamfighting with Fiora might seem really hard at first, but in my opinion there are three main things you can really do in a teamfight as Fiora. Whenever I'm going to teamfight, I always ask myself these questions. Do they have high priority targets that need to die? If yes, can I reach them? If the answer is yes, then try to kill them. If you can't reach them, then just don't and try to look for their backline, right? So in the case where you can't reach those high priority targets or backline, like a Fed ADC, right? Like Kog'Maw, he has a lot of range, you can't reach him. You can look to melt the enemy front line and get a quick ult proc for the healing. Another situation could also be that if you want to peel a high priority target on your own team, like say you have a Fed Jinx, and you can't really engage their backline, and they're like, okay, they definitely want to kill the Jinx. So what you can do as Fiora is really strong in the 1v1 is try and zone or take Zed and Talon in a 1v1 and try to push them away from the Jinx. That way you're completely safe in team fights, no problem, and their high priority target, their Zed, right, can't kill your high priority target. So in general, what I would say, 1, kill a high priority target on the enemy team, like their assassin or their ADC. You kill the front line for the ultimate healing. If they have like an engaged threat, or if they have a rail, something like that, they can have a lot of threat with engages. So that way you get a quick ult healing proc for your team. And 3, what you could do is peel your high priority target. if you have a fed Jinx, a fed Kog'Maw, and that's usually the way I go into team fights.
Playing Fiora in team fights, well, people keep saying that it's hard, but it's not. You just need to know your windows to go in and out a lot more than other champions, because if you screw it up, you're just going to get one shot immediately. One of the big factors in team fighting is how much slowing abilities do they have, how much CC do they have, how easy is it to predict, react to, how likely is it to get used at the start of the fight, or are they going to hold it? If you're playing into CC and damage heavy comps, you're going to be finding it very hard to fight unless you have obvious windows. And what obvious windows are, let's say you have a Leona or a Nautilus engaging in. If you have those champions, they're just going to engage in, you're going to follow. You have an easy and obvious window, or someone CC'd for like a second, 2, 3, however long it is. And if you're close enough where you have flash, you can instantly do your combo. The other window is just one-shotting someone that doesn't expect it. If someone doesn't have flash and you have flash, especially if it's an immobile character, it can be Yasuo when he's not next to a wave, Irelia or an ADC or whatever. You just flash R on them and instantly one-shot them. You can just go in, one-shot them, get out, and it's completely fine. And most people don't expect it. Like, I can flash into the middle of 3 people, instantly pop my vitals, and if they don't have like a point-and-click CC or something like that to get me away or just stop me, I can just kill the guy and run away, and I heal too much for them to kill me. And the last one is just front to back, where you focus the person in front of you, and regardless of whatever is happening else in the fight, just focus the person in front of you and instantly kill him. Usually it's the tank for the enemy team, the Or and the Maokai, whatever it's on. You just R them, you kill them, the tank is down, and then once the front line is down, you go on to the back line. And that's the traditional team fighting idea. As long as you understand what your windows are for going in and out, it's not hard.
Alright guys, make sure to check out all of those streamers as they are very good at what they do. I'll leave a link to all of their Twitch channels in the description of this video. Now, just to elaborate for those in the back that might be a little confused, there are many ways to play Fiora in a team fight, and there are a ton of variables that will affect which approach you should take. Depending on your team comp and the enemy team comp, you'll either want to play front to back, flank the enemy backline, or protect your high priority allies. Playing front to back is waiting for your team to engage in a fight, or if the enemy hard engages on your high priority allies, and then ulting them to kill them very quickly while providing healing to your teammates through your ultimate so that way they can continue the fight. After killing that first enemy and providing the heal, you should target the next closest enemy with the rest of your team, and you should win as long as your team isn't too far behind. Playing to flank the enemy backline is essentially making your way onto the enemy ADC or mid laner by any means and using your ult to quickly kill them. After killing the fed enemy, you can either run down the rest of the squishy backline or escape over a wall, considering Fiora's Q is on fairly low cooldown. If you want to know which walls you can queue over, make sure to check out my Mobifier guide, as I have a map down below that shows you which walls you can go over and which walls you can't. After escaping, you can either re-engage if possible, but this depends on the state of the game. And lastly, you can protect your high priority allies, kind of like the front to back approach. You'll position yourself near your fed ally and wait for the enemy tank to engage or the enemy assassin to jump in, and then you'll be able to one-shot them with your ultimate and provide the heal to keep your fed opponent alive. This is ideal for when your allies are very strong, so that way you don't have to carry the game yourself. Now guys, that's the end of this video. This video wouldn't have been possible if it weren't for you guys leaving comments on these videos, so please, if you want to see more videos like this, leave a comment on what we should cover next. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitch, as I'm live almost every day and I can answer any questions you guys have regarding Fiora. That being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.